Welcome to Live Life Inspired Views for Every Day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. In response to last week's podcast on panhandlers, I received an insightful message from a new listener, Paul. A while back, he read about an idea called Love in the Glove Box. It was a list suggesting that one could keep items in a gallon Ziploc bag, including things such as small gift cards to fast food places, granola bars, hand wipes, socks, which can also be used as mittens, lip balm, handkerchiefs, Mylar space blankets, etc. The original writer to this list had written, "It's not much, but can help sustain a life and honor that life." She always handed them out when she could. Paul and his wife write on the bag they hand out, "God loves you." Hmm. Thank you, Paul, for this wonderful idea. Love in a glove box. Wow. Spread it around. Thinking about the things we can do to help someone in need reminded me of the words we say when people are hurting or going through difficult situations. Recently, I was talking with someone who had gone through a difficult loss and also someone experiencing a new cancer diagnosis, which requires her to receive chemotherapy. In both conversations, I mentioned that when you are on the receiving end during those difficult times, it seems people often say the wrong thing that one needs to hear. We know the intent is almost always because someone truly cares and just doesn't know what to say. But so often we fall back on old cliches that are not encouraging and or helpful. So how do we know what to say? One of my favorite classes to teach for our school counseling students is Introduction to Counseling Skills and Methods. Throughout the course, as we talk about different approaches to build their counseling skills, I will suggest a way to say something and then tell them, keep that in your back pocket to use when situations arise. So, in this podcast, I thought I would give you too some suggestions to keep in your own back pocket that I picked up along the way. What started me thinking of the power of a phrase was when I came across a suggestion when dealing with someone who has a totally different opinion of something. A rarity today? Unfortunately, no. When you have listened to a barrage of hostile thoughts concerning an issue, for example, a response that can soften and possibly open the conversation would be to say with a kind tone of voice, "Are you open to another point of view?" Hmm. Tonal expression, facial expression, and body language are so powerful in how a person receives another's opinion or thoughts. When someone retorts or insults your feelings or intent, you can say, "That does not feel good. What is your intent?" When said with a gentle but firm tone and confident but not hostile expression, keeps you from being on the defense, giving them the benefit of the doubt but letting them know you are standing on your integrity. The other night, in conversation with two friends, after hearing something from one of the women, Linda replied to the other opinion, "I would have to be careful with that." It was such an insightful yet kind way of saying, "I don't quite agree with you, but you can believe it if you want." Hmm. Perhaps the most difficult times to find the right thing to say are when people go through loss or deeply challenging life experiences. Here is a list I found from the poet Uli K, which seems to have a lot of back pocket wisdom for us. Instead of saying, "I know what it feels like," say, "I cannot imagine your heartbreak." Instead of saying, "You look like you're holding up," say, "How are you holding up today?" Instead of saying, "Healing takes time," say, "Healing has no timeline." Instead of saying, "Everything happens for a reason," or "They're in a better place now," say, "This must feel so terribly senseless right now." Sometimes we need to just be silent. I often say, "I don't know what to say except just to sigh with you. This hurt must go so deep." And sometimes the best thing can be to admit we just really don't know what to say. Going through a crisis, a difficult situation, dealing with a disagreeable conversation or hostile conversation can be hard, and we all want to say the right and appropriate thing. We may not know how anything we say will be heard or accepted. So we can always add, if I say the wrong thing right now, will you please forgive me? But I want you to know how much I care for you and what you are experiencing. Or in a charged conversation, I know you feel strongly, and I do too. But this might be the time we just accept that. Then change the course of conversation if possible. Hmm. This week on your bathroom mirror, write, I will keep a list of back pocket phrases to help me say what might be the right or best thing. Join me next Monday for Live Life Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.